Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Mr. Pad Paramahansa, Parivajikacharya, Astotra to the Sri Srimad Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa, Parivajikacharya, Astotra to the Sri Srimad Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnavin Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glory to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. On this 23rd day of December 2019 in SanDiego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And we are in chapter 8, entitled Attaining the Supreme, text number 20, at the top of 364. Where's Suresh today? Too much rain. Doesn't usually miss. Must be too much. The weather probably. Okay, top of 364. Parastasmattu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yaksa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu navinashyati. Parastasmattu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yaksa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu navinashyati. Parastasmattu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yaksa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu navinashyati. Excuse me, Parashakti. Parastasmato bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yaksa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu nabhinashyati. Parastasmato bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yaksa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu naminashyati. Parastasmato bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yaksa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu navinashyati. Go ahead, Doug. Parastasmatu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yaksa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu navinashyati. Not yet. Parahat, you all have books. Parahat, transcendental, tasmat, to that, to, but, bhavaha, nature, anyaha, another, avyaktaha, unmanifest, avyaktat, to the unmanifest, sanatanaha, eternal. Yahasaha, that which, sarveshu, all, bhuteshu, manifestation, nashyatsu, being annihilated, na, never, vinashyati, is annihilated. Translation. Yet there is another unmanifest nature, which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Purport. Krishna's superior spiritual energy is transcendental and eternal. It is beyond all the changes of material nature, which is manifest and annihilated during the days and nights of Brahma. Krishna's superior energy is completely opposite in quality to material nature. Superior and inferior nature are explained in the 7th chapter. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshu Unmidatam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto him and all members of Sri Parampara. So here Krishna is describing his own abode. This is one of the few places in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna talks about the spiritual world. This is all following from text 15, famous verse, Mamo Petyo Punarjanma Dukali Amashashratam Napnavanti Mahatmana Sangsiddhim Padamangata, that one who attains to my abode, which is beyond this world of dukkha, of misery. Dukali and Mashashratam is a phrase Prabhupada would always cite. It doesn't come back again to this world. He's attained the supreme perfection. And then after that, he describes how every place in the material world, even up to Brahma Loka, they're all places of periodic destruction. Punar Brahma Bhuvanala Punar Avartanojana, Mamopeta, they're places of return where you may go up to the heavenly planets, but you return down to earth. You go through life, and then you die, and then you come back again to another life, material life in this world. So this is called Punar Avartana, which means returning again. But one who attains my place doesn't come back again. So Krishna is starting to talk about his spiritual abode. In 17, he gives some idea of the daytime of Brahma. Remember that? 1,000 yuga cycles makes only one day, and he lives for a month, 30 of those days, which is each of which is 8,640,000,000,000 years long, and it's incalculable time, 311,040,000,000 years, and then he dies. But beyond all of this, Avyakta, Vyaktayaksabha, Pavavancha Haragame. So it means manifest and unmanifest. The whole material energy eventually merges back into Mahavishnu, and everything just stays dormant for like a whole lifetime of Brahma. And which is one breath for Mahavishnu. You can imagine how slowly he's breathing. Yeah. So then when he breathes in, everything merges in him, and he breathes out, and everything is manifest again. So this is called Vyaktaha, Avyaktaha. Means manifest and unmanifest. And so this is the way it goes. And then that phrase, Bhutva Bhutva Paliyate, that's again and again manifesting, again and again being destroyed. But the verse we read today, Parastasmat, to all of this transcendental or beyond all of this manifest and unmanifestation, there's another unmanifest nature which is never destroyed. That's what he's talking about here. There is another unmanifest nature. So what is the first unmanifest nature? It's the material nature that becomes unmanifest upon the death of Brahma. And Mahavishnu is still manifest, but he's transcendental. But all material worlds are unmanifest. They're in potential form. So that's the first unmanifest. But there's another one which is eternal and transcendental to manifest unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. That's what we're hearing about now. That and when all this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. So that's not a place of return. If you go there, you never take birth again. Krishna has already hinted about that in the 4th chapter, where he says, Janma karma tame divyam evam yo vekti tatpadaha takpa deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorja. That one who can understand in truth my appearances and my leela, my activities, doesn't take birth again, doesn't come back here again. It comes to me in my spiritual abode. So shall we continue reading about this? The next verse is also about this abode. Avyakto chada ikyuktas tamahu paramam gatim yam prapananavartante tadhama paramam mama. That which the Vedantists describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns, that is my supreme abode. Purport. The supreme abode of the personality of Godhead, Krishna, is described in the Brahma Samhita as Chintamani Dham, a place where all desires are fulfilled. The supreme abode of Lord Krishna, known as Goloka Vrindavan, is full of palaces made of touchstone. Prabhupada gave a special meaning to the word touchstone. I don't know if you ever looked it up in the dictionary, but the boring meaning is, in the regular dictionary, is a stone that you touch to gold to test if it's really gold. But this is a stone that you touch to anything and it turns to gold. So that's Prabhupada's new meaning of that word. I'm sure it's going to enter into the English dictionary at one point. There are also trees, called desire trees, that supply any type of eatable upon demand. And there are cows, known as Surabhi cows, which supply a limitless supply of milk. In this abode, the Lord is served by hundreds of thousands of goddesses of fortune, or Lakshmis, and he is called Govinda, the primeval Lord and the cause of all causes. The Lord is accustomed to blow his flute, Venum Quanantam. His transcendental form is the most attractive in all the worlds. His eyes are like lotus petals, and the color of his body is like the color of clouds. He is so attractive that his beauty excels that of thousands of cupids. He wears saffron cloth, a garland around his neck, and a peacock feather in his hair. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna gives only a small hint of his personal abode, Goloka Vrindavan, which is the supermost planet in the spiritual kingdom. A vivid description is given in the Brahma Samhita. Vedic literatures, Katha Upanishad 1.3.11, state that there is nothing superior to the abode of the Supreme Godhead, and that abode is the ultimate destination. Purushan napadam kinchit sa kashta padamagatihi. When one attains to it, he never returns to the material world. Krishna's supreme abode and Krishna himself are non-different, being of the same quality. On this earth, Vrindavan, 90 miles southeast of Delhi, is a replica of that supreme Goloka Vrindavan located in the spiritual sky. When Krishna descended on this earth, or descended to this earth, He sported on that particular tract of land known as Vrindavan, comprising about 168 square miles in the district of Mathura, India. So, we're getting a little description of the spiritual world. Avyakto Akshara. Akshara, Prabhupada says infallible. It really means, expanded meaning is imperishable. Imperishable. That which is chara, in the 15th chapter we'll hear these words used at the end of the chapter. There's the akshara and the chara. There are the destructible bodies of the living entities, and then there's the living entities themselves, which are akshara, which can never be destroyed. We know that from the 2nd chapter. So this whole realm is akshara. In Goloka Vrindavan is pure spirit, never destroyed. There's never any inebriety. This is another word Prabhupada gave a special meaning to. It means negativity. It means depression. It means anxiety. All the things that we have in great abundance here. So it's avyakta. You can't see it. It's unmanifest, invisible to our present eyes. It's said to be. Paramam Gatim. This is the supreme abode, the supreme destiny, our destination. Yeah, there was akshara and chara. Yeah. So chara means destructible, perishable, and akshara means imperishable, or as Prabhupada says, infallible here. The idea is that it's never destroyed, never changes. So we are, by nature, we are. What were you going to say, Darshan? You're talking about text 21 now, right? Oh yeah. You may have a later printing. No, I think later printing. We took that out about the 168 square miles because that wasn't accurate. Yeah, I'm sorry. I should. Yeah, it's hard to keep up. So, Taddhamma Paramang Mama. This is my supreme abode, and Prabhupada refers to the Brahma Samhita. Now, in the Brahma Samhita is of course, a famous work. Lord Chaitanya discovered it in his trip to South India and brought it back and made it current, world famous now. Nice commentary was written by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. So the Brahma Samhita is said to be a little summary of the Bhagavatam. I don't know if you know that. Of the Bhagavatam, the philosophy and the position of Krishna. You've got explanation of, if you go through the Govinda prayers, you'll see there's a little explanation of all these main figures. You've got a description of Durga Devi. You've got who is Brahma, Mahavishnu, the different Vishnus, even Surya Dev. There's a description of the sun god, how he goes. And of course there's a little description of the spiritual world. Prabhupada quotes this. And then at the end, after the Govinda prayers, there's these 2 verses. They have one number, but they're really 2 long verses, giving this delightful description of Goloka Vrindavan. Shriya Kanta Padamapurusha Kalpatadavo. You know this one. Dhruva Bhumi Chindamaniganamai Toyamamatam Kata Ghanam Natyam Gamanam Api Bhangshi Priyasaki Chadanandam Joti Padamapitadasvajam Apicha Sayatra Chirabdi Svabdi Surabibjast Sumahan Nimesharakyo Vachiti Nihiyatra Visamayak Bhaje Shweta Dvipam Tamaham Hagolokamitiham Vedantaste Santak Chidibidachara Katipaye. So what this means is, in that land of Goloka Vrindavan, Shriya Kanta, that the all the beloveds of Krishna, they're all goddesses of fortune. Shriya is a word. Shri is a name for a goddess of fortune. They're Kanta. Notice the long A. That means it's feminine and plural. All of these Lakshmis, as it says, thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis. And in Kanta Padamapurusha, the beloved of all of them is the Supreme Personality of God, Padamapurusha. Kalpatadava Dhruma. All the trees there are these Kalpa Dhrumas, or Kalpatadava, means Kalpatadu, desire trees. Now I was just hearing Prabhupada in the lecture describe the nature of that. He's saying, now if I ask you to give me a glass of water, you can do it. But if I change my mind or something and I want some juice, you can do that also. Why? because you're a living entity. You're an intelligent living being, and you can make choices like that. Similarly, the trees in Goloka Vrindavan, or the desire trees, they're fully conscious. And so if you ask them for some nice mangoes to give to Krishna, they'll give you that. If you want some apples, they'll give you that. If you want, some blueberries, they'll give you that. Huh? Not even just fruit. Whatever you want. So that's the culprit. Druma bhumis chintamani. The word chintamani is there. So all of the land, bhumi, it's not just ordinary earth. It's chintamani, gems. Bhumis chintamani gandamahi toyam amritam. All the water is nectar. All of the walking is dancing. Nobody just walks. You're dancing. All of the talking is singing. And you can always hear Krishna playing that flute in the background, which is very dear to him. Priya Saki. Priya Saki. Chidanandam Jyotir. Everything is effulgent with this blissful effulgence that you can directly taste. Jyotir Padamabitadasvajam apicha. Then it describes the cows. The Surabhi cows are always moistening the ground with all this milk. They're just loving Krishna and they're so happy. Oceans of milk. Sayatra Chirabdi Surabati means flowing from their udders. Sumahan, the rivers of milk. And then this very interesting statement. There's no passage of time. Not a second passes away there. There's no past or future. It's only the eternal present. Meaning that there's no change. You don't get old. Every day is newer and newer. But it's for eternity. There's unlimited varieties of different pastimes to enjoy in relation to Krishna like that. Yeah, I mean, there's no need for day and night, but there's a day and night to facilitate the pastimes. You got to have a nice moon come up if you're going to have a rasa dance. Right? But there's no material moon like that. So this is all Brahma, spoke this, and after meditating for many thousands of years, and then he had this revelation, and he chanted this Brahma Samhita, which is coming down to us. And it's only one chapter. I don't know where the other chapters are. This is one chapter of the book. Anyway, so Prabhupada refers to that here. So this is really where we want to go. We need to become, in another purport, Prabhupada says, one should be enchanted or by this description, of Krishna and his place, because this is where we want to become attracted to, so that we can become firm and determined in our sadhana to purify our consciousness, so that Krishna will take us back there. It's all a question of Krishna's will. If Krishna sees that we're sincere and that we're actually purified, we're trying to serve him, then he'll bestow upon us the purification that which will allow our natural love to blossom, and that will be our ticket back to Godhead. That's the idea. Now, I want to, if you'll allow me, before we move on to the next verse or whatever. Last night in the talk, there was an interesting question by a certain gentleman over here about desire. Isn't it? How do you understand that you're getting free of desire if you even desire to be with Krishna or something? How are you getting free of desire? And I wasn't really satisfied with the answer so much. So, yeah. This fellow was sitting right here near where I was sitting. So I wanted to expand upon it because it's a very important point, really. And how, really, Krishna consciousness is a transformation of our desire, of our aspiration. A purification or sanctification, if you will, spiritualization. Not something artificial, it's returning to our natural state. The living entity is part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna has desires. He's not, a dead stone. He has desires. He's a living being. And all of those desires are auspicious for us. And what is his basic desire? He wants to enjoy. There's a phrase in Raso Vaisa, in one of the Upanishads, describing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Raso Vaisaha, which is almost like a sutra, right? So what it means is that he, God, Krishna, aspires or wants to taste rasa eternally. What is rasa? We have some experience of it because that's what makes the world go round, is our relationships with other people, living things, with inanimate things. which we sometimes project some animation onto. Just like, a child, you give if they can have a favorite teddy bear or something, they have a relationship with it. There's an emotional attachment. They want to sleep with it, right? I had one of those. I don't know if and then you grow out of it. But it's an inanimate thing that's given. There's a rasa there that the child develops. So that's what the living entity needs, and that's what Krishna wants in his perfection, and that's what he has in the spiritual world. Now, why aren't we there now? Because we were a disturbing factor. We didn't want to engage in the rasa with Krishna. We wanted to be the center of attraction and enjoy sense gratification. And so we needed to have a separate place where we wouldn't disturb the other devotees. And that's why we're here. We're in a place where we can try to be masters and owners and controllers, and then learn that that's really not our nature. So how to get from this state back to our original state? That's the science of bhakti, and that's what Krishna comes to preach. He said in chapter 4, when dharma has become distorted. Remember, real dharma is that which awakens your original bhakti to Krishna. That's there in chapter 2, 1st canto, 6th verse. Very important what real dharma is. He gave the talk on the 2nd verse, which begins with what is not in the Bhagavatam. Dharma projita kaitavo tra. Here in this Bhagavatam, immediately kicks out, 2nd verse. All cheating religion, all cheating dharma, which is a religion or a discipline based on the Supreme, but tinged with personal desire. In other words, it's the same old attempt to imitate Krishna, compete with Krishna, in the name of religion. And the Bhagavatam specifically, it was written to go beyond that, because Vyasadeva had done bridge preaching. He had felt, well, they're not ready for pure bhakti, so we'll give them karma kanda. And in the process of worshiping Indra and going to the heavenly planets, they'll also chant some Vishnu mantras and be purified. You see what I'm saying? But he was dissatisfied with that. So Narada comes down and said, you just forget about all that, and you write a book that's wholly and solely about the ultimate dharma. And that's what the Bhagavatam is. And that's the only thing that is going to get us back to the spiritual world. So how to it's almost like we have a certain amount of momentum in the material sphere. We have all this karma, we have our nature that we're born with due to previous activities, and we have a certain set of desires. If a male, we have a set of, a female has a certain set of desires, different modes of nature. Now, how to take that momentum, that desire, and gradually transmute it back into the pure desire for Krishna, to serve Krishna. That's the art and the science of bhakti that's been handed down to us. So the answer is that there are certain processes by which you begin with a certain desire, and the desire is, the first desire, spiritual desire, is to break out of the world, the bondage of birth and death. There's so much of that in the Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga section in the chapter 3. How can the person who is wise, he gives up the fruit of his activities for sacrifice, and then in this way breaks out of the bondage of karma, of birth and death. You see what I'm saying? So that desire to break out of birth and death, that's kind of a personal desire. It's the ultimate in desire for release from all suffering and all pain. How many times you listen to Prabhupada's lectures as you hammer away at that? We have to recognize we're eternal souls. We don't die with the body. But we've been going around and around. Birth, death, old age, and disease. And we should aspire to break out of that and go back to Godhead. That's a desire. It's a healthy desire. Now we may say, yeah, I really want to go back to Godhead. I want to, go with Krishna. That's good. How do I do it? Okay, so here's what you do. The first thing you do, you have to give up A, B, C, and D. We know what those are. And then you have to chant this mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. And we don't know how it's working. It's just like a medicine. Some little kid takes a medicine, or anyone takes a medicine. I don't know how it's working. But I've been told by the doctor and other people who have taken it, this medicine works, it'll relieve your symptoms and cure you. Okay, I'll take it. I have faith. Yeah, faith. So the process of transmuting your material desire, even this spiritual desire for liberation, is to begin the process of bhakti yoga. and bowing down, learning the mantras, all the things that we do. And just by that contact with the holy name and the process of devotional service, your desire starts to be purified. And even without knowing it and feeling it, you can feel you're getting detached from the material energy. How do I mean? By all those unwanted desires and those, obsessions with material things. And you're becoming more attracted, to engage in devotional service. Some of it you still have to come back to the point, it's my duty to do it. I don't feel like I'm going to do it anyway. I know that's what I need to do. You see? So that's why the spiritual master is so important, the philosophy is so important, regulation is so important, and mostly association is so important. Because we're flickering, the mind is flickering, it's got all these bad habits. One false step and you say, oh, I can't take it, I'm going to leave. And you leave the association of devotees and you become weak. You understand? Go ahead. Well, spend a day at the Hare Krishnas. This is what it looks like. In other words, all Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Huh? Yeah. There's a daily routine there. If you're talking about Goloka Vrindavan, yeah. Yes, we have the 10th canto, the Krishna book. Krishna he gets up, he's a coward boy, he goes out with his friends. If you're one of his friends, you get to go out and play with him in the forest. If your inclination is to be more as a mother or father or parent to Krishna, then you can serve him when he comes back. And the main way of serving Krishna is to remember him. That's the first thing. To chant his name, and that's going on in the spiritual world also. But they're so absorbed, and you have to always remember it's not limited by time and space. If you're absorbed in thinking of Krishna as his holy name, he's there completely in his holy name. You can associate with him there. Glorification and practical service. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of things. Huh? Yeah, ongoing. There are many. Yes, there's 4 or 5 different rasas. You can serve as a servant. You can serve as a friend. You can serve as a parent, or you can serve as one of his girlfriends. And that's available. That's within our heart. We're in one of those rasas. We all have that. We don't know what it is now. It has nothing to do with our external body now. This body is a result of millions of years of karma and activity. But way deep inside of there is our eternal swarup, our swarup siddhi. Means that a spiritual body, it may not even be a human body, but you have everything in the spiritual world is completely conscious. That's why I mentioned the trees. They're as conscious as the human beings, but they have this form of trees. When Krishna comes in, they bend down, they give their fruits of shade, whatever, No, we have to. No, you don't know. Yeah. Raso Vaisa. Raso space Vai VAI Saha, and there's a corresponding. I think it's the next words in the Upanishad. Rasam hiye vayam labdvanandi bhavati. That describes us, the living entity. When we regain our knowledge and our understanding of our rasa with Krishna, labdva means to regain or gain. Labdhanandi bhavati, we become anandis. Anandi is the noun for the person who's always merged in ananda. Well, you learn about, you get reestablished in your rasa here, and then you naturally go back to Goloka Vrindavan. It's not that you don't know the rasa until you get there. You know it here. It's revealed to you even on this plane, you see. And then when leaving this body, you don't come back, as we just read, and you transported to the spiritual world to continue in the same relationship. No, not necessarily before death. Yeah, even before death you can understand that. There's part in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's some chapter 8 of the Madhya Lila that talks about this. You can read that. Anyway, the answer to the gentleman's question is that our desires are in flux all the time. But when we accept the guidance of the spiritual master, the experienced acharya, and who gives us a guidance according to the Shastra, the scripture, and we try to mold our life in that way, then our desire evolves. We start with curious. We're inquisitive. That has to be the original desire. And then if you accept the instruction, even just chant 2 rounds a day and become a vegetarian. This may be the first thing. Fine. If you accept it, that'll help you. Your desire will evolve. And mostly it's important to study and to hear from the great acharya, and that purifies the consciousness. Okay, so we have time for 1 or 2 more, and we're almost near the end of the chapter. There's a section here that we can put in abeyance. Okay, text 22. Purushak saparapartha bhaktyalabhyastvananyaya yasyantakstani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatham. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attained by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all-pervading, and everything is situated within him. Purport. It is here clearly stated that the supreme destination, from which there is no return, is the abode of Krishna, the Supreme Person. The Brahma Samhita describes this supreme abode as Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, a place where everything is full of spiritual bliss. All the variegatedness manifest there is of the quality of spiritual bliss. Nothing there is material. That variegatedness is expanded as the spiritual expansion of the Supreme Godhead Himself. For the manifestation there is totally of the spiritual energy, as explained in chapter 7. As far as this material world is concerned, although the Lord is always in His supreme abode, He is nonetheless all-pervading by His material energy. So by His spiritual and material energies, He is present everywhere, both in the material and in the spiritual universes. Yasyantakstani means that everything is sustained within Him, within either His spiritual or material energy. The Lord is all-pervading by these 2 energies. To enter Krishna's supreme abode, or the innumerable Vaikuntha planets, is possible only by bhakti, devotional service, as clearly indicated here by the word bhaktya. No other process can help one attain that supreme abode. The Vedas, the Gopaltapani Upanishad 121, also describe the supreme abode and the supreme personality of Godhead. Eko Vishi Sarvaga Krishna. In that abode there is only one supreme personality of Godhead whose name is Krishna. He is the supreme merciful deity, and although situated there as one, He has expanded Himself into millions and millions of plenary expansions. The Vedas compare the Lord to a tree standing still, yet bearing many varieties of fruits, flowers, and changing leaves. The plenary expansions of the Lord who preside over the Vaikuntha planets are 4-armed, and they are known by a variety of names. Purushottam, Trivikrama, Keshava, Madhava, Aniruddha, Rishikesha, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Sridhar, Vasudev, Damodara, Janardhan, Narayana, Vamana, Padmanabha, etc. The Brahma Samhita 537 confirms that although the Lord is always in the supreme abode, Goloka Vrindavan, He is all-pervading, so that everything is going on nicely. Goloka eva nivasatta kilatma bhutaha. As stated in the Vedas, the Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.8, Padasya Shakti Vibadhaya Vishuyate Swabhavaki Jnana Balakriyacha. His energies are so expansive that they systematically conduct everything in the cosmic manifestation without a flaw, although the Supreme Lord is far, far away. So, yeah. Well, unalloyed means pure. Yeah. Alloy is something you mix in, but there's no alloys. It's pure gold. Yeah. And variegatedness just means full of all kinds of varieties. You know, this prayer that we offer the Srila Prabhupada, like a lot of times during the day. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarani. Now Prabhupada wrote this for us because we needed pranam mantras to say when we offer obeisances. So these have been said since the 60s. So what that means is, the second one, I offer my obeisance unto the disciple of Saraswati. Saraswati means the disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. It's important to say Saraswate. This pronunciation was Deve. First it was Devam. You remember it was Devam for a while there? I don't know if you remember that. Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani. But there's a letter. The letters came out later, in which he wrote, Bhadrumna said, suggested maybe change it. Deve probably agreed. It took a while to wean the devotees away from Devam, but anyway. So, Namaste Saraswati Deve, the divine disciple of Saraswati. Gauravani Pracharine. Now, Prabhupada always used the word preach, because it's close to Pracharine. Pracharine means to teach and preach. So, what is he preaching? Gauravani. Gauravani means the words of Lord Chaitanya. Everything that we study here, and as you can obviously see, most of the teachings in here are in the purports. You know, they're obviously based on the original verses, but we're hearing the meaning, the expounding of the meaning from the purports, which are coming, a lot of it from Baladev Vidyabhushan, who was a student of Vishwanath Chakravarti, who was following in the footsteps of the six Goswamis, who were the direct disciples and students of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So everything we understand in terms of all these intricacies of the rasas and everything is coming from Lord Chaitanya. So that's Gaura Vani. Vani means words. Gaura is a name for Lord Chaitanya. It means the golden avatar. Gaura is golden, you know. So, now what is the effect of those words? Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarani. This is why it's so important to understand the meaning of all this. So Nirvishesha is precisely the lack of variegatedness, no variety. This is the teachings of the Mayavadis. The Mayavadis, what Mayavadi means, in Sanskrit, oftentimes the adherents of a certain philosophy will be called something Vadis, meaning this is what they speak. Mayavad philosophy. Vada means words. So why Maya? Maya. They say everything is Maya. Anything that has varieties is automatically Maya. The form of Krishna, it's Maya, you know, because it's a variety. In other words, the name, that's just ordinary sound. They're atheists in a sense. And so they think that the only thing that's real is Brahman. Brahman in the sense of the white light with no varieties, no form, no qualities, no smell, no sound, no nothing. You know, just that brilliant white light, which is the source of everything. And that's what they want to merge into. And it's explained, yeah, exactly. So Prabhupada saved us from that. In other words, devotees who are, have developed some kind of relationship or attraction to the form and name and qualities and pastimes and prasadam of Krishna, they think merging, it's called kaivalya. That's another, kaivalya is a term that's used often to mean this merging, losing one's personal identity in the Brahman. That's just like going to hell. You'd rather be in hell where you can chant Hare Krishna. It may be a little warm, but you still be able to chant Hare Krishna. You have some fingers, you have your voice. But in Brahman, you don't have any of that. You don't have no form. There's no Krishna, there's no you, there's no nothing. So that's Nirvishesha. And then there's Nirvishesha Shunya Vadi. Notice the word Vadi again. Shunya, it means void. The Mayavadis, they try to base their philosophy on the Vedanta Sutra. And they have their teacher in Shankaracharya, who wrote this impersonal commentary. There's a whole reason why, he was actually ordered by Krishna to do this. He's an expansion of Shiva to teach this covered Buddhism. Historically, Buddhism became very prominent in India at a certain time because there was a corruption. In Kali Yuga, everything becomes corrupt, even the Vedas. in the Brahmin class. So they were using the Vedas, and if you read this, there's, like we're reading in the morning, the Bhagavatam, the 4th canto, there's 400 horse sacrifices. Oh my God, that's a lot of blood. What's that all about? So, yeah, but when they do it right, with the right mantras and the right procedure, the horse gets a new life and he actually, is promoted to a higher, even a human life. Even cows, old cows, they did. But that was being misused. Those passages of the Vedas were being misused to mass slaughter of cows and meat eating. And so Buddha comes along and he's aghast at this. So he's a very powerful preacher. And so he rejects all the Vedas. He says that, his whole philosophy is not based on the Vedas. And one of the main tenets is ahimsa, is non-violence, you see? Yes, he's listed in the Bhagavatam. He's mentioned in the Bhagavatam as one of the Leela avatars there, the Dasha avatars. So, it's apparently atheistic. They don't believe in God, but so Buddha said, well, just worship me, but he's God, so he's tricked them, to worship God. So anyway, but without the reference to the Vedas, ultimately you can go back to Godhead. So Buddhism, was good to stop the cow slaughter, but ultimately the Mayavadis came along under Shankaracharya to propagate this covered Buddhism, because people were into the personal, but in the name of the Vedanta Sutra, bringing them back into the Vedic paradigm. You see? But then after the Buddhists left, they all moved east, Japan is very prominent east. We had to come back to Bhakti. So after Shankaracharyas and the Mayavadis became prominent, then you had great acharyas like Ramanuja and Madhvacharya, and of course Lord Chaitanya, who fought with the Mayavadis. That fought means they debated. And they defeated them on the basis of the Vedas, that Vedanta Sutra really is personal. And so bringing it all the way back to Bhakti, you see, which gives you the varieties of the spiritual world, and Krishna's form and pastimes and everything, and you also have variety. You're not impersonal, you're a person, eternal person. Yes. So that's what variegatedness means. So nirvishesha shunyavadi paschatya deshatarana. Paschatya desha means the Western worlds. Prabhupada, he didn't know that, at least he didn't, apparently, that he was going to start traveling over and not just the Western world. He started in the Western world. But anyway, that's the mantra. He's saving the Western world and the whole world. Tarine, the key word is tarine, delivering. He's saving us from the black holes of these false philosophies that keep us bound in this world. Nirvishesha shunyavadi. So that's what the variegatedness. Probably varieties, variegated, it's the same thing. Okay, we're almost out of time. I don't want to start this section because there's a whole section here about the time that you pass away. The ultimate instruction is at the end of the chapter, where he says the devotees, they don't worry about that so much. They know these two paths, but they're never bewildered. In other words, they never really care. The time you pass away, that doesn't matter. That's a material thing. If you're absorbed in Krishna consciousness, really absorbed, it doesn't matter where or when you pass away. That's what counts. But it helps, to stay absorbed and go to Vrindavan, like, some of our elders are able to go there and settle in, because everything reminds you of Krishna. It's a lot easier to remember Krishna. But the time of the year, the time of the day, is not we're not concerned so much with that. But Krishna gives it because it's Vedic. Yeah, go ahead, one more. We'll finish this chapter tomorrow. Eventually that part of the I just want to make sure. I think we're on 22. No, 22. 22. Okay, 23 tomorrow. There are parts. There are some provision for that. Mostly you don't hear so much about the cow sacrifice, but you hear a lot about horse sacrifices. And Prabhupada would say they're meant to test the mantras, and they give the animal a new lifetime. It's not, it's definitely not for mass slaughter. It's not for, but because there was an opening there with the corruption of the Brahminical class, with the Kali Yuga, then, basing it on, oh, look, there's this passage in the Vedas, you pull it out, you misuse it for excuse for starting to slaughter animals for eating.
Right, so is an animal sick or something like that? And
It's an an older cow, not a young cow that's producing.
older horse, you mean, like an older horse that gives a new life?
Yes, they're definitely able to give a new life, a superior life, even a human life.
They took that corruptly.
Yes. Yeah, there was a corruption that took place. The Kali Yuga turns everything, around.
I'm just wondering about the original. I see that.
Yeah, that's it. There's some explanation of that. I can tell you the passage in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which you can find on your phone. It's all there in that database. And yes, there's all these mantras. There's a thing going on there. It's not done out of any, lower. Originally, it wasn't done out of these lower desires to eat the meat. No, not at all. All right. All glories to